appreciate that, Chris. You're the best.
When's Dana
Uh,
who's coming first? We're real.
Dana, Dricus, and Alex.
That's it?
Yeah, Yair's been transported.
Okay.
Pantoja transported. Moreno transported.
back on?
It's on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. It's back on.
Hey, can you sell me something? Who was it that asked to have the air turned off? Not me.
No, we were just turning off. I think we were just gonna turn off one of them,
Yeah.
and they all got turned off. So we just put them back on.
Yeah, but I wasn't the one that said let's turn them off, right?
Right.
See?
Yeah.
Okay.
He paused.
No, well, yeah,
No,
'cause
no, 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 no. She never did. She didn't. She
they
never
were
did.
like, Amy
She.
said she got cold.
Good cover.
I was actually kind of chill. I make an assessment of the room, but there's 3 tubes back
I
there.
mean, I was no complaining. I was cold, but I wasn't. Right.
Well, usually you'll throw the sweater on,
Right.
and I did no sweat. No sweat. Yeah.
Because, you know, it's 100 and whatever degrees outside. So think about a sweater.
Yeah.
It's usually really hot here, too. So it's really nice.
Those pump out some air. So I just want the 3 tubes, take it down to either 2 or 1. If I don't
Yeah.
know. So, but they're back.
I know the people back there were freezing, too, that were sitting right by it.
Yeah. I was too. I threw this up. Sweater.
I still have to go to that stupid sneaker thing tomorrow. What would happen if I just unplugged this white cord? You don't even have any water. The white one. This one. That would drop the stream. Buzz power. And I'm gonna do it. I thought it was the live stream. What's the worst cord for me to unplug right now? Why? shave it. You can shave it into different styles along the way, and then take a picture of each one. Like do chops, plan it out, just a mustache, just a goatee. Yeah, yeah. I think that'd be funny. Did you put the hat picture on your dating profile? Do you know that some dating profile? Well, you can put videos, like really short videos, on some of the dating apps. Like Hinge, I think, is the one who can do that. You should put a little clip of you asking him if you should put like advice for your dating profile. That's true. Then you say, message me to find out the translation.
Hey guys, the attendance tonight was 19,204. We were sold out. The gate was 9.75 million. The performance of the night went to Gomes and Du Plessis, and then the fight of the night was Moreno and Pantoja. I know you guys are probably going to ask me about Hooker. He did break his wrist. His wrist was broken in the second round. And Moreno did break his hand in the first round. Who's got the first question? John Morgan. What's happening, buddy?
Not much, man. Daniel, talk about the main event, Alexander Volkanovski. I know you just put Jose Aldo in the Hall of Fame, but Volk might be the greatest featherweight of all time. Just what did you think of his performance this evening and kind of where he stands?
Total domination, man. He looked incredible. And I can't remember if it was a big straight right hand or left hand. He looked like it shook him a little bit, but he didn't even stop. He kept going, and he put on an unbelievable performance tonight. And Yair is so talented, and Volk even at the end there started to strike with him, stayed on the outside of Yair was trying to keep him on the outside and hitting him with some big shots, and Volk was willing to stand with him. The guy is an absolute freak. He's incredibly talented.
Yeah. He said he's going to have surgery, so we know he's going to be out for a while. But he keeps talking about he wants to go back to lightweight and get that. When he comes back, do you think he's better off staying at featherweight, or do you have interest in seeing him make that lightweight move again?
I don't know. I mean, let's see how his surgery goes and what happens. And, he's at one of those places now in his career. Whatever he wants to do, what are we going to say? You know what I mean? This guy's literally proven himself a million times. Many people believe he won, the Islam fight. Whatever he wants to do, we'll probably roll with it. Yeah.
I love it. Pantoja, obviously, fight of the night, incredible title fight there. Just what did you think of him tonight? Jonas guts up.
Yeah, we sent both those guys straight to the hospital as soon as that fight was over. Absolute dog fight, incredible war. Nothing but respect for both guys. An amazing fight.
It's a unique position, right? Because a fight that great, a champion losing the belt, close fight, great fight, you might want to do a rematch, but they fought 3 times already.
Right.
So does that kind of eliminate the opportunity, or was that good enough that maybe they could go for it?
It's like the Figueiredo fight. I mean, it's so good. I don't know. I honestly don't know the answer to that question right now, but I don't think there's anybody on earth that wouldn't want to see that fight again. It was so good and so close.
Have to ask you about Israel Adesanya coming into the cage tonight. Dricus Du Plessis, the big win. I guess the decision to bring him in, not something you do all the time.
Well, there was a big debate over it. I didn't want to do it. First of all, what I don't like to do is when you have somebody like Du Plessis who just big win for him. You know what I mean? He just beat the second best guy in the world in that division, and then somebody's going to get in their face and get aggressive with him again after they just got done getting out of a war. But Adesanya and I had a debate over it, and he promised me that nothing crazy would happen, so we did it.
I know you say, hey, this is the fight business. People say nasty things, right? But the tension between those two and kind of the racial undertones and all those things, how do you...
What were the racial undertones?
Dricus says he's the real African fighter, and so, Israel dropped some N-words in there tonight.
So what was the racial? Who did? Who dropped the racial?
Israel was saying over and over, yeah.
He's black.
50 N-bombs in there.
Okay, he's black. Who gives a shit?
I was going to say, so you don't have any concern about the way the build-up, the tension between those two?
I could care less. This is the fight business. Israel Adesanya can say whatever he wants to say. Who gives a shit? Why, are people bitching about that?
Some people,
of course they are. Oh, fucking A. All right, got it. Yeah. Too fucking bad.
All right.
Yeah.
Last thing for me, then, I just want to everybody say that's a fight that everybody wants to see. Is 9 weeks in Sydney a possibility? We haven't seen Dricus yet, so we don't know what kind of condition he's in. Is that a possibility, or is that too soon?
I don't know. We got to see. I mean, when you come out of a night like tonight, these fights were all tough wars. They were, we'll see how these guys feel. And again, when you come out of a fight like this, like Pantoja and Moreno and Du Plessis, and you got to give these guys a couple weeks to go home and relax and let their bodies heal and spend some time with their families. And it's just things that you just don't talk about right after the fight. Dana. Not that we haven't in the past, and you make a fight if a guy had a great night or what. Robbie Lawler, if he wanted to fight again, there you go. You know what I mean? But he retired, so.
Dana, to your left.
Yeah. Hey, Kev.
First of all, I want to ask you, it seemed like this was one of the best cards in a long time, top to bottom, where you had a lot of incredible finishes and whatnot. Can you put it, maybe UFC 189 was another one of the cards. Is there any card that leaps to mind that compares to this one in terms of the amount of finishes? I
don't know. Off the top of my head, I know we've had some great cards. Tonight was just like that. Everybody knew it was a great card. This whole week, International Fight Week, tons of great stuff going on. And I just think that you couldn't have topped off a great International Fight Week any better than tonight. The energy in the place was off the charts. The fights were incredible. These kids fought their hearts out tonight. The Robbie Lawler story, how it unfolds and how he, retires. And, it was the perfect night. It was awesome.
Off the top of your head, again, a question, it's a tough question. You look at Moreno and Pantoja and say that might be fight of the year. It seemed to me, especially through 4 rounds, it was just an incredible fight.
I don't disagree. And one of the things that listen, when you get like, I've been saying this for years, and I've been saying it leading up to this fight, the whole Mexico thing. When you get a Mexican from Mexico and they fight, the fan base is incredible. It's like England. It's like these other countries when they get behind their people. Ireland, whatever country you want to think about, it's fun when you have, a real Mexican fighting in a fight. The crowd's incredible. It's electric. And I don't even know what the hell you asked me, but yeah.
Was that fight of the year in your opinion?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, it was up there. It was a great fight.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Volkanovski. Obviously, you said before he was tremendous and he's good. He seems like he's good in so many areas. Lene told me the other day when she mentioned there was 140 media people. He thought he had 100 more interviews to do, right? And he's the kind of guy that seems like he does good work in every area of his responsibility. I wonder if you could just kind of comment on sort of him as not just a fighter, but as a company man for you guys.
Well, it's that whole team that he comes from. When you look at Israel Adesanya is ready to fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. Him and Pereira had that back and forth for a long time. He didn't care. He wanted to fight him. Volkanovski's willing to fight anybody. When you look at Volk, every guy he fights, reach and the size and reach advantage that everybody has on him. He doesn't care. He's a savage. He gets in there and he handles his business. Hooker tonight breaks his wrist in the second round. I didn't even know. I had no idea. Rogan and those guys must have hurt him in the corner. That whole team is badass.
Yeah, he told Mark Smith, he said, if you raise my hand, if I win, raise it gently because my wrist is hurting. He goes, I think he said he broke his elbow, is what he had told Mark Smith.
Got it.
That was pretty crazy. One last thing, do you think Volkanovski is one of those guys that will be appreciated more when he's gone, right? Because he's not flashy at anything. He's good at everything, but he's not flashy at everything. Where you had Anderson Silva was, like flashy knockouts and everything. Volk seems like he just gets the job done, no matter what the area is. And do you think when he's retired and we're looking back on his career and debating whether it was him or Max Holloway or Jose Aldo as the GOAT of that division, that we'll appreciate him more later than maybe he gets now?
I think that's usually the case with all athletes that are great during their era. You know, I think the same about John Jones. I don't think John Jones is appreciated the way that he should be appreciated, and definitely Volkanovski is one of those guys. But when you look at our business, you know, Australia and New Zealand are a big part of our business as far as pay-per-view goes, and Volkanovski is definitely a big star. So, yeah, I don't know the answer, but yeah.
Dana, over here, other
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
What went into the thought to give Robbie that tribute video? Because we've had fighters like Shogun and Frank Edgar announce their retirement before their fight, and they didn't get the video.
Well, I don't think we've ever really confirmed that, you know, somebody was retiring or whatever. Robbie and I have had several conversations. He's done, there's no whatever, and so we did it.
Can you think of another, like obviously Amanda just happened, but to Robbie
And
Lawler,
thank God we made that video because we still had 25 minutes left on ABC. So thank God.
I know Amanda just retired and she put like the belts down and that seemed to be a perfect ending, but can you think of another, like in MMA history, that a lot of people online seem to think this is the best retirement moment we've had in the sport?
Yeah, those are two really good ones. I don't know. And the big question was, you know, after that quick knockout, is he really done? Did you guys talk to him already?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like at 2 o'clock today, he knew he felt great, felt better than he's ever felt, and, you know, he was feeling it today, he told me, so.
Well, according to Connor's Twitter, Robbie Lawler's probably going to fight again by the end of the year.
According to Connor's Twitter, Robbie's what?
Connor tweeted that he thinks Robbie's going to fight again by the end of the year.
We've had a lot of conversations leading up to tonight, and then we've talked 3 times tonight.
Yeah.
He won't.
Yeah, Robbie said he's done.
Yeah, he won't.
What did you make of Bo Nichols' performance? Another quick finish.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's a wrestler. Let's start there. He fought a kid, real kid, 7-0. Took him on short notice without getting to study him and train for him. And this kid's got knockout power. And Bo looked damn good tonight. Every time this kid fights, he looks better and better.
At what point do you just have to start throwing him into these? Because he's had so few fights, but he's putting away these people on that have the same amount of experience of him, but he's putting them away in under a minute. At what point do you just throw him into the top 15?
Throw him into. He fought a kid tonight that was 7-0. What were you throw him in a guy with 30-0? I mean, you know, when you look at the way fights are made in boxing, this kid's already, you know, way ahead of the game.
Yeah, he even said that he's surprised at how fast he's gone here.
Yeah, you know, there's no hurry. He's young, you know, he's only got a few fights, but the reality is too. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but when we brought Cain Velasquez in,
He was like 2-0, 3-0.
yeah, something like that, maybe 3 or 4-0, but so who knows?
A couple unrelated to this fight card. Kamaru Usman was in here, and he said he still wants to fight Hamzat at 170 pounds. Have you talked to him at all while he was in town?
No, we have not talked.
What do you do with Islam now? Because Alex said that he might have to have surgery on his arm. Charles did an interview earlier this week at UFC X saying that October might be too soon for him. So looking at that top 15, Gaethje and Poirier obviously fighting in a couple weeks, who do you give him for Abu Dhabi?
Yeah, I'm going to announce Abu Dhabi real soon. No Abu Dhabi stuff because they want to coordinate with us when we do it, but we'll have the announcement on that card soon.
Hey, Dana.
Yeah.
Going back to Robbie, he's the final fighter in the UFC who ever fought for Pride and one of like a couple who fought for Strikeforce. It's an end of an era in that regard. In hindsight, those purchases that you guys did of those two companies, how valuable have they been to the UFC?
Massive. I mean, at the time, when you looked at the number that we paid for Pride at that time, it was a massive number. But if you look at the fights that we've made, you know, the guys that came over from Pride and all the fights that were made, it was one of the greatest deals of all time.
And
Other than buying the UFC for $2 million.
yeah, and we had Juliana Pena and Raquel Pennington both here tonight, and they're beating the drum to get that vacant title fight that Amanda left behind. Have you put any thought in towards what you're going to do with that 35 belt?
We're working on some stuff right now. Yeah.
And speaking of belts, I spoke to Jorge Masvidal yesterday, and he wanted me to pitch you the idea of he wants to wrap the BMF title around the winner of Poirier and Gaethje.
That's
Would
pretty
you like?
cool.
Would you
Sure.
like to do that?
We can do that.
Yeah,
Done.
not The Rock this time.
Done. Congrats.
All right,
You did it.
Hey, Dana, over here.
Yeah.
So Alexander Pantoja winning the title, awesome performance. He gets it. Brandon Royval was the backup for this fight.
Yeah.
Is he going to fight the winner even
Well,
though
he grabbed me as soon as I walked out of the octagon. He's like, let me get in there now. I'm ready. I want this fight. I'll beat both of these guys. You know, so he's fired up and wants that fight.
Is he going to get it, though?
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. And then we talked about Dricus, and obviously we got to see how healthy he is. I would assume he's number 1 to fight Izzy. Would Sean Strickland be number 2 just with his performance a couple weeks ago? He seems like he's healthy if he wanted to step in there and fight for the title.
Well, Strickland put himself in a really good position, man. When I did If You Don't Know that week, I was saying to the press, win, lose, or draw, nobody wanted to fight this guy. And Strickland, who's ranked number 7, stepped up to the plate, took this fight, and look at what he did. So, yeah, he gets a lot of credit for taking and winning that fight, and especially winning the fight the way that he did.
Yeah, and last one for me, Canadian got to ask, Canada, any announcements soon for the next date? Vancouver was great. You saw the response there.
I agree.
Toronto, a possibility? A lot of fighters from Toronto in the UFC.
Yeah. Listen, nobody's more excited to get back to Toronto than me, man. I love that city. There's so many things I love about Toronto. So ASAP, we'll be back there as soon as possible.
Dana in the back.
There was a woman. Your voice came out earlier. Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Connor tweeted a little Santa Claus emoji and said he wants to return in December. Is there any update on that possibly happening?
Listen, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, there's a lot of business that needs to be handled before we talk about this. And I was doing an interview on Friday, and a bunch of fucking scumbags wrote stories that I said, fuck USADA. I don't care what USADA says. It's not even remotely close to what I said. So, first of all, I'd like to say fuck you to everybody that wrote that story, number 1. And number 2, there's a lot of stuff that has to go on before, he fights. So, it's not even, my point was, no matter who's talking about it, whether it's USADA or whoever and this and that, it's not even worth talking about right now. Everybody wants to keep bringing it up so that pieces of shit can write stories like that. Never did I say I don't give a shit what USADA thinks or disrespecting USADA or anything like that. It doesn't matter what anybody says. I don't know how this whole thing's going to play out. Let's wait and see.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana back here.
Yeah.
So in 2012, International Fight Week just started, right? 11 years later, when you think about how far this week has come just for this promotion, what are some thoughts and emotions that come to mind?
What's the question?
So International Fight Week started in 2012, right?
Yeah.
So when you reflect 11 years later,
yeah,
what are some of like the thoughts and emotions that you have? What are some that come to mind?
Well, what's cool is, this was an idea in our meeting room one time, and we thought we would pull together this whole week where martial arts fans could come and celebrate, everything martial arts, everything, combat sports in a week, and here we are 11 years later. This was one of the best we've ever had. The expo was rocking. All the other activities that happened this week were amazing. And it's, I never really thought about it till you just asked me. It's awesome. Thank you. Yep. Yep.
Right over here.
Yep.
How you doing?
Good.
So I just want to go through the emotions that you went through this weekend, especially at the Hall of Fame. Jens Poker, he was on the first marketing materials when Zupa purchased UFC, and he was at UFC 33 victory in Vegas, and then Robbie Lawler was the first televised fight in UFC history.
Right. So, the 37.5 on Fox Sports. Yeah.
So I just want to go through the range of emotions. These guys helped build the company to what it is today. What's the range of emotions, and how do you plan to include them into the business going forward?
Yeah, I mean, that's why, we've talked a lot leading up to this. We talked a lot tonight. Brought him back to my room as soon as the fight was over. He's special. He's a guy that, it's almost like we grew up together in this thing. And I saw him in Hawaii when he was 19 years old fighting, and loved the style. I loved the way he fought, so I signed him. And it's like what this guy was talking to me earlier about Bo Nickel. Was Bo Nickel, is it too soon? That was the same question with Robbie Lawler at the time, and here we are. He's almost 42 years old. And he's still here, he's still fighting, and he's retiring tonight. He's a special guy to the company and to me personally.
Awesome. And Val came in on short notice, came in during a pinch. Will you continue doing business with Val? Have him on the roster?
Hey, who's that?
Val, guys, the person that fought Bo Nickel.
Oh, yeah. What about him? Is he going to stick around?
Yeah, he's going to stick around.
He took the fight on short notice. We'll absolutely give him another fight. Kid came in and, yes.
Okay, and
Yeah, I like him too. He's a great kid.
Yeah, and one more question for me. for you, watching all the fights from the early prelims all the way up to the top of the card, who are the standouts to you? And
I mean, everybody stood out tonight. It would be completely unfair. If I look at this whole card and think about who stood out, I mean, there were a lot of standouts tonight, you know? Yeah. I mean, I don't know who I'd pick and say, oh, this guy was the guy, or this girl was the girl, which was an awesome fight, too. Big upset there. That would stand out. The card was awesome. You couldn't ask for a better card, especially to top off International Fight Week.
congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Dana?
Yep.
This is one of those cards where a bunch of finishes. Is this going to be one of those cards where you give out a lot of locker room bonuses, those infamous locker room bonuses?
Yeah. I was surprised that none of you said to me, how does Robbie Lawler not get the bonus going on? Don't worry about Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler's going to be just fine. Yeah, we'll take care of Menifee. I mean, you know, yes. The answer is yes. I don't have to go through the roster, but yes.
I mean, was it a thought to give everybody $50K, just one of those cards where you give everybody a bonus?
The whole card, $50K?
Yeah.
Hey, go work for this guy. This is the guy right here. Yeah.
And then just did Dan Hooker and Jalen Turner have the fight of the night before Brandon Moreno?
Yeah, 100%. I actually, like I told you about how everything works in matchmaking, we had that little debate, and I was saying, what about the Turner Hooker fight? And Sean felt like, you know, there was more at stake in the main event, and, you know, two of the best guys in the world, and, you know, Sean won.
Jack Della Maddaleno is in Vegas. He obviously didn't fight tonight. He wants to fight next week in Vegas. Is that a possibility?
I love it. Well, first of all, you know how I feel about that kind of stuff. Yeah, I love it. We'll see. Yeah, I love it.
And then finally for me, there was a video of John Jones in Vegas. He was at Jorge Masvidal's thing. He was taking shots. Like, does that kind of get you worried?
Listen, he's a grown man. He can do whatever the hell he wants. I always say this, John, more than 12 hours in Vegas is usually probably not a good idea for John. Yeah, I don't know. Listen, John has done very well for himself. He's been through a lot of shit. He's made it through. I don't know whose idea it was to keep John here for days, but Hunter, was that your idea? Well, here we are. I'll plead the fifth on that, sir.
Dana.
In the back.
Thank you.
In the back.
Yep, yes, ma'am.
Way back here. Josiah Harrell was supposed to be on this card tonight. We see a lot of what happens on television and during press conferences, but behind the scenes, there's a lot of health and safety protocols. How important is that for this organization, and how do you feel that you go above and beyond what other organizations are doing in terms of making sure those health and safety protocols are in place?
It's everything to us. It's the most important thing in this company, and we. You know, there's been so many kids that we've caught stuff with, you know, leading up to fights or when they first get here and start doing their medicals, the Ultimate Fighter screening that we do on them, the Contender Series screening that we do on those kids. We spend the money to make sure that all these athletes are safe and healthy. Yeah, it's everything. It's the most important thing in this business. We have a great track record, and hopefully that continues.
Just a quick follow-up. Is there a ballpark amount that you spend annually on those protocols?
You know, off the top of your head? How much do we spend on health and safety? Minimum of $10 million a year.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dana,
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hi. I'm from Chihuahua, Mexico. I'm a local newspaper, and I have two questions for you.
Yes, sir.
The first question is, do you look the Pantera Rodriguez the same style, or do you see another style right tonight? And this is the first question. And the other question, can you say something for, okay, many people to Chihuahua come here driving, many people to see our champion, or see Jair Rodriguez. Can you tell something for these people and this afición? Because, you know, right now I'm a little sick about the loss.
We're going to need a translator for you, sir. Does anybody here speak Spanish? Say that in Spanish. Ask me that question in Spanish.
Ok. La primera, si usted vio el mismo estilo de Yair Rodríguez, como siempre lo ha hecho, o si vio algo diferente en él.
He asked if you saw the same style of Yair Rodriguez tonight, or do you see any changes in the style when you saw the fight tonight against Volkanovski?
Yair?
Yeah.
Well, listen, Yair does what Yair does. He tried to stay on the outside. He tried to pick him apart. Volkanovski walked through it, took him to the ground, roughed him up the first few rounds. After he beat him up, then he said, okay, let's stand up, and he ended up finishing him. I think that Volkanovski not only came up with an incredible game plan, implemented it perfectly.
Ok, y la segunda es que mucha gente de Chihuahua vino aquí manejando para ver a Yair Rodríguez. Si usted puede decir algo a ellos, ya que ahorita están un poco tristes porque Yair perdió.
Is there any words of encouragement for the people of Chihuahua that drove all the way from Chihuahua, Pantera's home state, to Nevada? It's a very long drive, it's about 15 hours. Do you have any words of encouragement for his family and friends that drive all the way here, and then they saw this loss?
Yeah, I understand. Listen, I know how passionate Mexican fans are for their, for their athletes. They're one of the biggest supporters in the world of their own people. It's one of the many cool things that I love about Mexico and the Mexican people. Since as far back as I can remember, Mexicans support other Mexicans. It's incredible. They love their country. They support their people. It's fucking awesome, to be honest with you. I love it. And I've been so excited for many years to have a night like tonight where real Mexicans come in and fight and real Mexicans drive up from Mexico to come watch. I'm sorry it didn't turn out the way that you wanted, but we're opening this PI pretty soon, and I think this is just the beginning of many long road trips from Mexico.
Dana?
One question right back here.
Yep.
Want to go back to the Expo. Obviously, the NBA has things like the All-Star Game. NFL has a whole week of events for the Super Bowl. Can you put into words what it's like to know that fans not just have a fight night to come to, but a whole event where they can celebrate their love of mixed martial arts and the UFC brand in general? Yeah,
that was the reason we did it. That's what the whole thing was built around. And again, we have a whole creative department that works on this thing. As soon as this is over, they'll start working on next year. So this is something that's planned out, months to a year in advance, and I think it gets better every year. Today was this week was one of the best that we've ever done.
Ilia Topuria was cage side. I know we're coming off a situation where we just had an interim title for the featherweight strap, but if Volkanovski's having surgery and he wants to come back and challenge for the 155-pound strap, would you consider doing another interim featherweight title?
I don't know. I don't think that Volkanovski's going to be out that long, to be honest with you. I don't think this is a major surgery. It's a scope or something like that. I personally don't know enough about it, but I think it's a scope. I don't think it's anything that serious.
Bo Nickal's only been doing MMA for a little bit over a year. Do you think he's ready to challenge for a top 15 opponent, or maybe he needs a little bit more time, maybe one more away?
There's no need to throw him at a top 15 yet. He's a young guy. He's just getting started. He's just starting to feel himself out. Believe me, when he's ready, you guys won't. We don't even have to have this conversation. We'll all know when he's ready. But there's no rush to get Bo Nickal into the top 15.
Last question, without giving it away. Is it more than likely that Leon Edwards is going to be either fighting at Madison Square Garden or Abu Dhabi defending his title, the welterweight division?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Dana, you had Trump there at the cage side with you. What was that experience like, having him right there?
Listen, we all know he's one of my very, very good friends. I love being around him. I had dinner with him last night till midnight. He's fucking awesome. He's hilarious, and I love hanging out with him. And he's such a huge fight fan. So he knows everybody. He knows everything. It's just, I love the guy.
Did he say what his favorite matchup was?
No, he liked the whole card. You want to know how crazy this guy is? He's driving here. He got here at I want to say he got here at 5:40. He watched the earlier fights on his phone. You know what I mean? It's like he loves the fights. And what's really cool about being a fan of this, the way that he is the fighters all love him too. So he had a blast tonight.
What was his reaction when Dricus Du Plessis came up to him?
Yeah, no, he was blown away. He was basically talking about, he's like, God damn, this guy's huge. He's big. He's a big, strong guy. And he is. I mean, most of you have met him one-on-one. You ever grab him, like, touch his arm or whatever? The guy's like this table. He's a beast, man. So, yeah, no. I don't, what was the question?
Oh, yeah, you answered.
yeah, he was happy to meet him, yeah.
Stipe, what was that like getting that fight done? Was that hard to...
No. Stipe's been ready to go. Yeah, Stipe was ready to go. Talked to him tonight. He's happy. He's in a good spot. He's ready. Madison Square Garden. He's excited. Thanks, brother.
Dane, over here.
Yep.
There were a lot of Contender Series graduates tonight on one of the biggest cards of the year. How's it like seeing the success of that series unfold throughout these past couple of years?
If you come into our matchmaking room, okay, so these boards are laid out because I have to see everything on the wall. That's why the room was built the way that it is. And there's red stickers by some of the fighters, and there's blue stickers by the other. The red came from Tough, the blue come from Contender Series. The entire wall now. I mean, when we have a fight, you're talking half the card are guys from the Contender Series. I love the Contender Series. It's one of the best fight shows on television ever, and I can't wait for it to start up again here. I love that show.
Are you looking to take it internationally?
Well, it is internationally.
Well, like maybe do some Contender Series outside of the U.S.?
Nah, I like driving right across the street.
Fair enough.
Right, Dana?
Yeah.
Ilia Topuria, we didn't see you at UFC Jacksonville. What did you think was his last performance, and how close is he to a title at featherweight?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, every Tuesday we talk a lot about him now. And I had never considered or thought about going to Spain. Now I have the team working on Spain.
How close are we to a Spain card?
We're close. It's coming.
Yeah, Dana, just here. You
Hi.
talked about Leon and Colby. Leon, of course, is in town. Have you managed to speak to him at all? And would that fight make most sense in MSG?
Somebody just asked me that. It's MSG or Abu Dhabi. One of those. One of the two.
And have you managed to catch up at all with Leon?
We are very dialed in with Leon. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Dana, right in the middle. Talking about Tough, with the Chandler getting the first 6 wins right now, do you think, would you have rather have changed up the style of Tough at all during this season?
And why is that?
No, I'm just talking about like with the contenders, like guys have already been in the UFC, and then do you think you would rather, looking back at it, have like one side beat all of the older guys and then one side beat, or split them up instead?
With the what? No.
Fair enough. Do you have any update on Yuri Prohaska or the 205?
Yeah. Soon. We'll be announcing that soon too.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. You guys done with me? Have a great night. Thank you.
Dudes, congratulations. I got to assume the biggest win of your career to date. Very impressive performance. How do you feel about the way things went tonight?
Oh, absolutely amazing. Definitely the biggest win of my career. Leading up to this, I knew this was the biggest fight of my career. It's Robert Whittaker. The man hasn't lost to anybody else than the champion in almost a decade. But I said it this is not going to see the third round. TKO in the second happened that way because, I just know my fighting style. And I guess this answers all the nose questions.
You were very respectful of him coming into this fight. You knew how great he was. He did have some success early on, and then you seized momentum, towards the end of round one. I guess, how did things play out, and was anything surprising to you in there?
No, not at all. Especially in the beginning of the fight. I said it. I can't go and fight Robert Whittaker like I fought Brad Tavares. He is too good and too calculated. I needed to figure out his timing, and I think the game plan, my coach, Monet Visser, he is obviously a guru at this. He is the man who put this all together, coming out and fighting southpaw against a guy like Whittaker. I always do switch stance, but to go and learn a complete new style for this guy, and it just worked perfectly. But, in that first half of the first round, I was almost checking to see, okay, how fast is he? How hard does he hit? And he hits hard and he hits fast. But it was just getting that timing, seeing, okay. But it was still going forward and putting pressure on. That was the plan, and that's what I executed. Much easier said than done when you're fighting and standing in front of Robert Whittaker throwing these big shots. But at the end of the day, I progressed and I made the pressure forward. And I could see in his eyes when he realized this guy's not slowing down and this guy's not going away.
So amazing victory, and they leave no doubt that you're getting the title shot next, bringing Israel Adesanya into the cage. I guess, what did you make of that, of him being brought in and you guys having that face-off? What did you make of the whole situation?
Yeah, the only thing I made of that was it's usually the contender that goes into the cage, right? So, I mean, even he sees me as the champion already, so he better knows I'm the champion. And now that he's seen me in that cage, he knows what a force I am in there. He could feel the energy, and I could feel how insignificant he is to me when we get into that cage.
Last thing for me, Dana was here earlier. He said he's not going to bother you about when you can fight, give you a little time, but everybody knows we're looking for a main event in Sydney. Is 9 weeks even a possibility, or is that unrealistic to ask you to be ready for a title fight in that kind of time?
What I say is Dana White obviously knows fighters, and he has the respect to know that tonight's all about celebrating myself and obviously celebrating the legend of Robert Whittaker.
Dricus right here. It seemed like coming into this fight, a lot of people were counting you out, not giving you your respect, and it seemed like Robert Whittaker was maybe the person who was giving you the most respect in terms of what you're capable of. Do you think now the people appreciate what you're able to do in there and give you your recognition?
I mean, yeah, Robert Whittaker, like I said, smart guy, and a true warrior, a true martial artist who knows that martial arts, you are as good as your opponent makes you look. And him being the warrior that he is, he came out here tonight prepared like always, and he was in great shape. But he could see what a lot of people fail to see, and that is a style that people are used to. People are used to certain styles. They don't know our style. They don't know how we put this whole thing together. And he saw that, and that's why he said, I'm the most dangerous opponent he's ever faced. That's why he said, one mistake he made is he thought, I don't have anything to lose. And I didn't fight like somebody who doesn't have anything to lose. I fought like somebody who has everything to lose. And every time I step in there, I have my life to lose. And I will protect that with everything. I have my family name, the Du Plessis name to protect when I step in there. I have the South African flag to protect when I step in there. I have Team CIT behind me that I represent when I step in there. I have absolutely everything to lose when I step in there. And I hope everybody saw that tonight.
And whether you fight Izzy in Sydney or at a later date, it seems like, given the things that have been said in the past, what was said in the cage, this could be a very kind of divisive and controversial build-up a little bit. How are you preparing yourself for that? Are you wanting to step away from it? What do you think the build is going to be like?
I mean, you saw tonight, I'm prepared. I'm prepared for everything. Everything he says, anything he's behaving like a clown in there. That's not how a champion behaves. That's not how a man behaves. He's behaving like a child. Conduct yourself like a champion. There's people looking up to you and you're behaving like that? Nah. If that sells tickets, good for him. I'll sell tickets my way. I'm a gentleman. I'm a man. And I'll behave like a man.
When you do get in the octagon with him, how do you think this fight goes? How do you beat him?
I'll knock him out just like I did tonight. If not, we saw his fight with Alex Pereira. if I get him to the floor, it is not even a fight. It's not even a fight. If I just get my hands on him, it's not even a fight. I will manhandle him. I've done it before and I'll do it again. And, as far as the striking goes, let's take that out of the question. You are as good as your last performance. What did his last performance look like against Whittaker? Yeah, he beat him. It was a close fight. What did my last performance against Whittaker look like? So right now, that's how I plan on beating him. The same way I beat Whittaker tonight, by implementing the game plan and sticking to my style and doing what we do best. Listening to my coaches, listening to the great Mornay Visser, the great teammates I have at CIT, a small gym in South Africa, coming up with game plans with this awkward style, this style that looks completely wrong to so many people. I'm the number 1 contender in the world right now, so it's time to put some respect on that.
Dricus, over here. Congrats on the win. Very impressive performance.
Thanks,
you obviously had the surgery as well, sort of leading into this. How much different did you feel in there? Because you looked really awesome just from the get-go.
Oh, thank you. I felt incredible. I didn't want to speak on the fact too much before the fight because, that's a kind of pressure that is a little bit out of somebody's control, I feel, to handle, because I could look at my fights previously and I know, I'm like, yeah, my opponents are tired too. Look, they are tired too, but I look at the fights and I'm like, for the amount of work, and I know for the amount of work that I'm putting in, I'm not supposed to be this tired. And this made such a difference. I felt incredible out there tonight. I didn't feel a little bit tired. I felt great. And the pace wasn't low. It was a great pace, and I could see my opponent slowing down when I was just starting to get going. I could see in his eyes, in his body language, everything that I needed to, and I felt invincible in there, and it felt great. It made all the difference in the world.
And Cameron Simon winning earlier on the card, I know it was the case on the last event as well. How much does that help you going into the fight? Just like, it's like a team mentality sort of going on this card with him winning impressively. How much did that give you like a little bit of a boost going into that fight?
Absolutely, and of course the mighty Springboks beating the Aussies, the Wallabies in the rugby. It was 47-12. What an obliteration! And that was the first inspiration I got. That was the first little boost I got. My countrymen can do it, I can do it. And then obviously Cameron coming in and putting up a masterful performance, because this guy is a future champion. It doesn't take a genius to see that. And I'm so proud of him, and we are incredibly proud to represent the flag, the South African flag, and come over here and put up these performances once again as a duo and as a team. And it made the absolute world.
And last one for me, just kind of looking ahead a little bit here. If they do end up making you and Izzy, do you think Sean Strickland would be a rightful backup in that situation if something happened?
Yeah, maybe.
Congratulations on the victory. To touch on it once again, obviously Robert Whittaker is a guy who's been at a very high level for a long time. What are some of the openings that you saw in the cage that you could explain for us when we watched that tape back of this performance?
Like I said before, there's not a lot of openings to see real quick, with Rob. But one thing was, I was big against Rob tonight. I could feel it when we were in the grappling exchange, in the wrestling exchange. I was strong. I could feel I was a lot stronger than him physically. But he's fast, and his footwork is so good. Like, he makes you miss all the time. And until I figured that out, he just has a very... his movements are the same constantly. And I brought in a lot of karate guys for this camp. We did. And it worked so well because I figured out that movement. I figured out but he does it so well. What he does really good is he's in the pocket, and as soon as you go for him, he's out of the pocket. He just moves backwards, but laterally so... And he doesn't move side to side. He just moves backwards and forwards. And he does it really quick. So, it took me, that's the first half of the fight, the first half of the first round, it took me to figure that out. But then I saw, cool, his hands are low, but he's not blocking a body kick, and I started landing. And I realized his left hook was really hard, but it wasn't the signature 1-2 head kick that he does so well. I was super prepared for that. He threw 2 of them, and it wasn't as strong as I thought, to be honest. It wasn't, I don't know if it didn't land flush, but, I blocked both, and I felt a lot more comfortable moving to the open side. But at the end of the day, it was about being patient and being composed, which I felt I did a lot better tonight than ever before.
Dricus?
When you talk about your career, you've had in the UFC, you've been part of some really big events, and slowly, keep moving up the ranks, moving up the card and everything. And now with this biggest victory in your career, how do you even put into words that whole journey? Because you've been on big events, but it feels like you really took center stage tonight.
Well, thank you. When you're fighting a future Hall of Famer, and a guy, if you're in the pound-for-pound rankings and not even having a belt, that has to say something. And like Whittaker tonight was the fan favorite, and he was the betting favorite by far, and rightfully so. I stick by that. And I said it before this fight. This is where I take that torch. This is where I become the favorite. This is where I become the guy who doesn't lose. And it was a massive honor to share the cage with him tonight, and to do myself, my family, my team, and my people proud, and go out here and the UFC. They Dana, Hunter, Mick, all these guys that are giving us these opportunities. It's amazing. They made this fight, and a lot of people were criticizing them for making this fight. They just said, this is a dumb fight to make the easy fight. And this is the fight we wanted to have. This is the fight when they asked us if we would take this fight, I was excited because I knew this is what's going to happen tonight. I knew we were going to steal the show, and we did. Because you have two incredible warriors going out there and leaving everything on the line in there, and it was amazing.
Cameron finally got a victory, no fouls. Can we finally get him to talk golf?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll see. Let's go have some beers first.
Dricus, is it safe to say fixed nose Dricus is a mythical fighter now?
Hated that question leading up to the fight. Absolutely love it now, and yes.
Dricus back here. So it's been nearly 5 years since you've lost a fight. Confidence-wise, where are you at, and how does that feel knowing that it's been that long since you've suffered a defeat?
It's interesting. I don't think about losing, and I haven't looked at that. This now that you've mentioned it, it's the first time. Looking back at my losses, they've all been extremely good to me. Every loss that, the two losses that I've had, one of them I was extremely young, and I didn't deserve to win that fight. And the last loss I had at welterweight 170, wasn't for that loss I would have been in the UFC right now as a 170 fighter where I don't belong. And that was one of the best things to ever happen to me. So, I feel as a fighter, you have to, some stage in your career, feel loss, feel what it feels like to lose, to really appreciate that win. And now I felt it. No need to feel any more losses now. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations. Obviously, a very dominant win tonight against a guy that you yourself said was very, very dangerous. So how satisfied are you with the way things went tonight?
Yeah, very satisfied. It's always good to get the win. You know, that's all that really matters to me is getting that win and getting that paycheck for the family and rolling that legacy on. You know what I mean? Because he was dangerous. Like, you know, there was probably the most feared I've ever been in a fight, maybe. Like him and maybe Max. This was you, and there's no one that's more dangerous and got a better chance of doing that than Yair Rodriguez. So there was, you know, obviously going into the game plan, you know, I showed him that respect. Mentally, I prepared as telling myself this. So it made me turn up in the gym every single day. It made me get the right training partners. It made me, you know, try and work out a good game plan. You know, systematically break him down. Take away a lot of his main tools, and I think we did a great job. He still was always going to be able to throw things because he's that creative. So that's why he was always going to be dangerous. But I was able to nullify a lot of his main tools, things that he would usually be able to do frequently. He couldn't do that with me, and then I was able to capitalize on that.
What was it like round by round? Because you did take over pretty early, right? But at the start of each round, he's back on the feet and he's throwing strikes, and that danger's there again. So was that, you know, kind of a difficult mental thing to get?
Yeah. Like that was always going to be there. But I mean, being prepared for him, ready for him, and there might have been one exchange where things landed a lot harder. I can't remember. Was that second round maybe? Like something landed. I'm like, oh yeah, nice. There we go. A lot of the other things he would kick and I'd roll with it and see it coming. And again, fine. But he did a good job there. But I was still pretty comfortable in there, and without the right setup, it could be good night. So, you know, he's the type of guy that you need. We did the right things.
You revealed afterwards that you're going to need some surgery, need a little time off. I guess, I mean, how serious is that? How long do you expect to be out?
I mean, I didn't mean to scare everyone with that. Like, when I say I'm going to do it, like, yeah, it's not a big deal. I'll be back in ASAP. Like, it will be a quick one. Just need to get something sorted. But I'll be training. You know, like, man, I broke my hand last International Fight Week, and you see me at Abu Dhabi ready to fight Islam or Charles Oliveira. That was a broken bone. This ain't a broken bone. We'll be right. I'll be you don't need to stress about that. I'll be training. I'm professional. You know, I want to be active.
We kind of asked him what he'd like to see for you know, because you keep mentioning lightweight, but obviously Ilya was here tonight, and he said basically you've proven everything. Whatever you want to do, he'll kind of go with it. So what is most important to you? You keep saying that lightweight, but
man, like we all know I want that lightweight belt. You know, we all know I want that rematch. You know, I want that Islam fight. I think not only for me to get that belt, for me to get that win back, but I think it is a massive fight for the UFC as well. I think it's a fight everyone wants to see. It was literally that type of fight. It was that close. It was a cracking fight. Everyone enjoyed it, and it was a very, very high level. There was 1 and 2 going at it, and we showed out. It really was that. Yeah, he lived up to the hype. I lived up to the hype, and that fight lived up to the hype. We just need to see 5 to 10.
Alex, to your left. You know, in boxing and MMA, historically, most people's time at the top has been very short. You're at the top now 3.5 years. It looks like you cleaned out the division, don't have a lot of challengers. Why do you think it is that most people can't last as long, and what is it that makes you special that you remain on top after such a long period of time? The guys who are physically talented.
Yeah, well, man, I think it's just that, the passion for the sport. The passion for the sport and the mindset. Like finding, for me, it's pretty easy. It's not hard for me to find a way to be motivated. Well, no, I don't need to be motivated. It's discipline. You know what I mean? People talk about, people want to listen to music. People want to do all this fancy shit to get motivated. I don't need that. I've got discipline. I'm going to turn up anyway. But I'm passionate about what I do. I always find a way. I always switch some things in there to get me hyped. Well, you know what I mean? Like I literally, wherever I did that, so I would turn up with no mucking about. Take this serious. And I did, 100%. And that's why you see me, like I say, I'm passionate. Like you got to see me in there. Like we're breaking down techniques, and I could talk about it for hours. I got Joe yelling at me. He's like, get out, man. I've got to lock up the doors. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, because I'm just, you said, that I'm more passionate than a few years ago. I guarantee I'm more passionate now than I was before. I love this game. I'm proud of where I am, and I'm proud of what I do, and I'm very happy I do this, and I'm privileged. This is a privilege to do something that I love and make money from it.
So on the other side of that, then when you look at it, a lot of guys come in here and they say, hey, I want to get to my after party or whatever, and they have another thing to keep them relaxed and not, do you worry about burnout because you're going so hard for so long that like after a while you get sick of it, like you lose your passion for it because you're pushing so hard?
No, I wouldn't say I get sick of it. I mean, it's hard work. I'll be lying to you. Like doing this, it is hard work. As I said, I need to get think a few things like being in pain 24/7. It's it's hard work. I'm not trying to feel sorry for myself, but it's sometimes you might need a little bit. You might need a little bit of time off, and I don't want time off. Like I said, give me a week. That's all good. Get the surgery. I'll be back in the gym. I can focus on a couple of things and chill with my family, and then back to work. But I mean, it's hard work. I don't know how to answer that question properly, but I mean, I still love this. But I mean, I'm not getting any younger. The body's feeling it. But that's why I'm in my prime, and I want to take advantage of it. That's why even though I'm going to get surgery, even though I'm going to be injured, I need to get back in there because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to stay on top. I go, I'm passionate. I'm experienced. I'm in my peak. How long is that going to last? So let's get to work. Let's get two of these bad boys.
Yeah, my last question for you, Alex, would be, a lot of people are great physical athletes and they do it. And it seems to me like, obviously, you talked about your preparation, but it seems like maybe you're smarter than a lot of other guys in terms of understanding the game and understanding not only what it takes to win in the cage, but sort of what it takes to get your body through a long training camp. Would you agree with that? And do you feel like the fact that maybe your wisdom for this sport and your understanding of the sport is underrated?
I think there's a lot to do with that in many ways. You might have physios and doctors that'll tell you different. Then, here I am telling you, I do this, and I'm very smart with the way I think. But they're probably looking at me like, oh no, you literally run your body through the ground every freaking day. I'm sick of fucking treating you. But that's just how I am. But I mean, I still think we do the right stuff. I'm getting through these camps. Again, I just got a couple little things to fix up, and I'm back in there kicking ass again.
Alex, over here.
Yeah.
After the Islam fight, a little bit of the narrative, I think even you said a little bit, is you were kind of drawing attention to when he would land punches, like you would kind of smile and point at him. You did that a bit against Yair too.
I still did that, did I?
Yeah. So I'm wondering, is that something you have to work on and can't like?
I think so because there was times like where there was one when he did it, like he ended up landing it. That landed bigger, like it didn't rock me, but I was like, nice. Like he ended up following up. But I mean, there's times where things barely land, like even in that fight. Like he'll do it, the timing was good. I thought I was out of the way and he just got me and I'm like, like touche, you still got me. Like good timing, good reach, good distance. And then everyone's like, whoa, he's acknowledging it. Like, whoa, and I was like, oh, fuck, all right, I better stop doing that. And then you're saying I did it again. I mean, I don't know how people look at it that way. It just shows you how composed I am in there, how relaxed I am in there. I'm sitting there going, yeah, well done. You got me one. You know what I mean? It shows you like I'm not even expecting you to land one. So I'm surprised, and I'm saying, well done, congratulations. That's all you're going to get. You know what I mean? Like that's how I'm looking at it. People looking at it different. I feel like me sitting there and them just touching and me going, oh, yeah, well done. And then you got, especially in that, look, man, I don't want to get into that, but I mean, in his fight, like doing these things, I'm like, it's full losing composure. Like, how does that not look worse than me going, yeah, well done. But I don't know. People look at it different. Maybe I've got to work on it because at the end of the day, all that matters is what everyone else thinks, right? And what them judges think. So if that is really going to be something that sticks in their head, we talk about being smart, fighting smart, having IQ. I need to work on that. So maybe I need to do something about that.
Earlier in the week, Charles had said that October might be too soon for him to fight Islam in Abu Dhabi. So I'm curious, did you hear that? And if not, does that kind of make you circle that date even more?
Well, it makes it a lot better opportunity for me to step in there. But I mean, like I said, I'm not ruling that out. It's funny, these people want extra time. Like here I'm telling you I'm going to get surgery and I'm probably going to turn up there on October. So that's what I'm showing you, you know what I mean? Find me a champ, there's not many of them anyway. I know you maybe got your Izzies and myself that is doing this. We're going out there, we're staying active, we're fighting the fights that a lot of people wouldn't. So I think people need to respect that a lot. People talk about BMFs and all that type of stuff. They're real BMFs. Guys that turn up when there's a lot on the line. I'll leave it at that.
Alex over here.
One more quick, sorry. You had the face-off with Ilya cage side when you were leaving. Historically, you and Max have been pretty respectful. Like, I know you and Brian got under each other's skin on The Ultimate Fighter, but he talks a lot, and he hopped the barricade to face off you. Does that get you excited that you'll have also a foil at press conferences and in the media to
100%. See, mine and Ortega's was a little bit, it's weird, just spend too much time to each other and we just got annoyed with each other. This guy's going to be just talking his shit, and I love that. I'm like, yeah, talk your shit. Now I can have a bit of fun with it and punch you in the face for it. You know what I mean? And feel good punching your head through the canvas. Because again, like, I'm gonna squash that bloke, so it doesn't matter.
Alex over here. How cool was it to see Dan Hooker get that win, and then you going to your fight? Were you kind of paying attention to that and thought, man, I got to go out there and keep? Yeah,
we'll put a video out there. Yeah, we'll go nuts for that. It was a cracking fight, man. It was nuts, man. How tough is that bloke? And then breaking his arm and still going through it. I mean, these are things that we talk about BMFs and doing things like that. Like some of the things you see people do in this sport is pretty incredible. It was cool to see, especially to get his hand raised after a war like that against a game opponent. Jalen Turner is no joke. He's dangerous, and to be able to land, cop some of them shots, break your arm, and then still end up on top is pretty incredible.
Did Dan's fight a bit remind you of your situation last year with Holloway, where people were kind of counting you out against Holloway and Hooker? You look at the odds. He was a big underdog tonight. Came out there, had a tough first round, but persevered and got the decision victory. I don't know if that's something you guys talked about or not. No, it's not. But I mean that happens all the time. People get counted out all the time. That's just how it is. I mean, it's going to be the same with Pantoja. Say, like he's beat Marino twice, and he's an underdog, and saying he's got no chance. Like you can imagine how he would be. That's going to happen. You've got to go prove yourself. But I wasn't surprised. I know Dan was a total different matchup for Jalen with that length and toughness was going to go a long way, and that showed out tonight. His toughness and obviously the fight IQ, that length and that well-roundedness. And just last one from me. Again, you were here a year ago today. Big win over Holloway. A lot has happened in the year. You had the fight with Islam. It was very close. You get this performance tonight, finishing Yair Rodriguez. I know you're fresh off the victory, but you've been able to kind of soak this in. How much you've really leveled up just in the grand scheme of things. Now, people consider you the greatest fighter, in the sport right now.
I don't ever get to soak it in properly, to be quite honest. I wish I did soak it in more. It's a good trait to have, where I can just move on and play what's in front of me, and it makes me be able to. In camps, I tell you, I can still, turn up in the gym, and it helps me with all that type of stuff. But I feel like I don't try and really soak it in and enjoy it enough and embrace it enough. So I will, obviously I appreciate everything. I appreciate the fans. I appreciate the love, but I forget about it like that. Again, it's a good thing to have because it keeps me disciplined. It keeps me, grounded. But at the same time, I wish I could really appreciate and understand what I'm doing right now because it's pretty incredible. 5 defenses, 7 title fights I think I've had. It's pretty crazy. It seems like yesterday I got the belt, you know what I mean? And look what we're starting to do. So it's pretty crazy. I think I need to really sit down and really take it all in.
Alex,
right here.
down here.
Go ahead, please.
Thanks. You said before the fight that you weren't too impressed with Ilya and you didn't really want to talk about him too much. Can you talk about him now? What you think about him as a challenger?
It's funny with this one, you want to talk up your opponents, right? You want everyone to know, so it's funny. But, I mean, he's going to talk his shit. So I remember I can say whatever I wanted. People don't have to believe it. But I was sitting there, I was like, maybe I shouldn't say how easy I think that fight's going to be, because then people might not be interested. But he's going to talk his shit, so people are going to want to see me punch him in the face, so it don't matter. But I look at that as again, no disrespect to the bloke, but the shit he's doing ain't going to work on me, and hopefully you get to see that soon.
And you, of course, faced off like you mentioned. But what did you say to each other?
Oh, nothing. I told him, I go, yeah, come on, jump over. Let's do a little face-off. Let's amp it up a little bit. See what it has. And I said to him, I go, man, I thought you were a bit taller, because everyone's so much taller than me. I'm like looking eye to eye, and I'm like, psh. I was going, man, I was about to say I got this 71-inch reach, which is a lie, but I should run with that. But it's again, no disrespect to the bloke. He is a good fighter. He's undefeated. Can't wait to take that 0.
Alex, right here. That finishing sequence was just unbelievable. The strikes into the takedown into the ground and pound. Did that feel as seamless to you in that moment as it looked to us observing it?
I don't know. It's weird. I was so clear-headed while that was happening. I went there, throwing the punches, even though he's sort of hurt, like, I've seen him in these positions throw crazy shit, like with elbows. I was like, all right, I better take him down because I know I'm just going to squash and punch his head through the canvas. So I was like, it was weird how like calm and composed I was through that. Like, picked him up, dumped him, got on there. Oh, yeah, this is the position. Oh, yeah, he won't get out. All right, let's just ground and pound. We're just going to have to stop it. It was weird how I went through it. I probably should have loaded him up a little bit more, just fucking really be dramatic with it. But I mean, it was good. I love my ground and pound. Everyone, it's starting to be a bit more of an iconic Volk sort of a tradition to just rain down some ground and pound bombs.
Can you remember another moment in your career, another fight where you've had that clear-headedness in a sequence like that?
I'm pretty clear-headed all the time, to be quite honest. But maybe in the heat of the moment like that, while you're getting the finish, like that. No, maybe not. Maybe not. Depends. It depends how you look at it. Obviously, Islam being in certain positions where most people would freak out, and I'm sitting there, laughing it off, having a laugh with him. I guess people would look at that and be like, it's pretty crazy. But I mean, people don't know what I'm doing in the gym. I'm like in their positions with absolute killers that are twice the size of me. So that's why I'm sitting there laughing at lightweights doing it to me.
Yeah, no, your 6th title fight win tonight. There's natural comparisons, especially with Jose Aldo being inducted in the Hall of Fame on Thursday. Are you still...
Well deserved as well.
Yeah, are you still of the mindset to be called the featherweight GOAT, that you need to hit that 8 where he's at, or do you feel like now...
I mean, the man just got a Hall of Fame and all that. Like, I'm not here to try and take, like, I'll let everyone else sort of decide that. He's an absolute legend of the sport. No one deserves a Hall of Fame more than him. And to see how passionate he was going in there, and like that was as raw as it got, like when he got emotional like that, and that was cool to see. Almost brought a tear to my eyes, to be quite honest. But absolute legend. Very happy for him, and that's for people to decide, not me.
And just last thing, if this Islam fight does happen again, what in your mind is the biggest thing you need to do differently to make it definitive in your favor?
I mean, it's going to be another, like, I'll be lying to you to say, hey, I'm just going to walk through him and do this and do that. Like, it's going to be another highly contested battle, but I guarantee I get my hand raised. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to capitalize on a lot more things. But yeah, again, it really is 2 top guys going at it. And they've done 5 rounds, and you're going to see there's a good chance you might see another 5 rounds of it. I'd love to get a finish, but we're both that good. It might be that type of fight. But looking forward, again, it's a challenge, another challenge that excites me. So, that's why I obviously want it. Because that's what keeps you. Again, we talk about I don't need to be motivated, but it's exciting when I can have guys like that in front of me. Like that camp that I did like 14 weeks. You know what I mean? Like it's just so good to have someone like that in front of you, and you ask about how do you get better. It's things like that get you better. Certain opponents in front of you that get you better. And like I told myself, I need to work on this. Where you're at now is not good enough. Like in that fight. He got his hand raised. Do I think I won? Yeah, I do, but he got his hand raised. All right, I need to work on these things, so I'm going to evolve again. And then, these lightweights and featherweights aren't going to stand a chance.
Hey, Alex, were you able to watch Rob's fight?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I watched that. Obviously, unfortunate for Rob, and man, like, did not expect that. Like, I think there might be footage of me. I'm like, yeah, like Robbie's obviously very well rounded, no joke. Man, Dricus did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, Izzy talks about manifesting things. I'm like, oh yeah, like, is this thing legit or what? Is this manifesting thing like that's no joke? Like he literally manifests things and it fucking happens. Like, you know what I mean? He's on another level. Izzy's got some sort of crazy powers or something, like, because I did not expect that to happen.
What do you think of Izzy versus Dricus?
Obviously he looked great to take out someone like Rob, man, credit to him. But, Izzy's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I highly doubt he's going to be able to land on Izzy and even get on top. And, yeah, man, look, I think Izzy's just going to be too good. But to take out Rob like that, you've got to be hyped up for that fucking fight. So, I mean, if he can go out there and take out, honestly, Robbie's one of the best in the world, literally, and he was able to beat him. So you can never count that guy out. He knows how to fucking win. Excuse my French.
And one last one. It was announced Max versus Zombie. Obviously, you fought both of them. A lot of people were like, Max, it's why did he even make this fight? Max is going to make it look. He's like, what are your thoughts on the matchup?
I mean, they're both tough. It's going to be a fun fight. I guarantee you. Yeah, Max, do I think Max is going to win? Yeah, but Zombie's going to be there. You're going to just see, like, you know, two zombies just going at it. They're just going to beat the shit out of each other. So everyone's in for a good night of fights for that one too, I think. Yeah, again, they both got solid chins. I wanted to take that Max granite chin, that legendary chin out. I couldn't do it. I don't think anyone can. So I've given up, and I think everyone should just give up on that. I think it's going to be, it'll be hard for Zombie. I think that's going to be Zombie's best chance, but I mean, it's going to be hard to do.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Let's get a photo real quick.
Stand still, baby.
Let's go, sir.
Every time. Rack 'em up.
Thank you, Alex. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Great night. Thank you. Hey.